Hey everybody, Skylar here once again. How y'all doing? Well, in case you didn't know, the Oscars are this Sunday. If you did know, great. If not, you're welcome. So, in preparation for the big event, I thought it would be interesting to look back at some of the most recent years in Oscar history and try and see how those shook out and maybe see if the trends we found in those ones will carry over to this new one. I think a good place to start is the 2008 Oscars. When I say 2008, I mean movies that came out in 2007. So, 2007 movies, 2008 ceremony. Easy enough? I would hope so. Like I said, 2008 is a great place to start because it's a genuinely great year for movies. We've got the 5 Best Picture category nominees were No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, Atonement, Mychael Clayton, and Juno. In all honesty, it's a pretty diverse mix. You got your crime thriller, you got your 3-hour-long drama about a megalomaniacal capitalist, you got your political thriller, and Juno, which just kind of exists in its own little universe. But another thing that makes that year great is just that the best film won, plain and simple. No Country for Old Men took home the top prize that year, and I see no reason why it shouldn't have. It's a great movie, it has great replay value. Javier Bardem is terrific. No complaints there. So, started off great with 2008. Rhymes, doesn't it? I'd like to say we keep getting even better from there, but there wouldn't be a video if we did. 2009, the next year, was a controversial one, to say the least. Our 5 Best Picture nominees were Slumdog Millionaire, Frost Nixon, Milk, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and The Reader. Slumdog Millionaire ended up taking home Best Picture, but looking back on it, it's not one of those movies that stands the test of time quite so well as, say, No Country for Old Men or The Departed. It's a perfectly fine film, I guess you would say, but I don't know, there's not much lasting power to it. However, the reason that 2009 is really known is because it's ended up snubbing more than one critic and fan favorite movies that were really predicted to take home Oscar gold, and substituted it with The Reader. Clearly, I don't have any hard feelings towards that movie. So 2008, a year that just kind of exists and would have gained much more notoriety if it made the right choices in the first place when it came to the nominations. However, the big impact 2009 had was that it changed the nomination process for Best Picture, and the Academy expanded its number of films from 5 to 10 in the 2010 ceremony. Unfortunately, 2009 just happened to be one of the most mediocre years in recent memory, perhaps even of the past decade. So with 10 new nominees, the pool was just occupied by movies like an Avatar and Up in the Air, movies that also just kind of existed. Best Picture that year went to The Hurt Locker, which was kind of lauded as the first film to really encapsulate the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, which is all fine and dandy, but it's not a very good film to begin with. I'm not saying that it doesn't hold up on repeat values, it just doesn't hold up on initial viewing. Subject matter, quality. I guess the Academy went for one over the other, clearly. Now, the 10 Best Picture nominees carried over to the 2011 nomination pool. And wow, was the 2011 ceremony was just made up of some of the most terrific movies. Like, when I think 2011 Oscar pool, I think clearly the movies that represented the best of what 2010 had to offer. We've got movies like Inception, Black Swan, True Grit, the remake, The Social Network, 127 Hours, Winter's Bone. These just absolutely terrific movies that hold up on repeat viewings. And what does the Academy go with? The King's Speech! Yes, indeed, the most bland, nondescript Oscar bait movie takes home the Best Picture, as opposed to these great movies that reinvent the genre, that tell a tale that's representative of our time, that are just damn entertaining, and that movie takes home top prize. That's why 2011 ceremony is going to be known as the Fall of Oscar and Rise of Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein is a very powerful film producer who has made it his goal recently to take his mediocre films and market the hell out of them to Academy voters as a well, essentially profit-driven exercise. But I'm sure his practices in winning over Oscar voters are completely legal. This depressing trend carried over to the 2012 ceremony, which was representing the best of 2011 in film, only it wasn't. Out of the 9-10 films that were nominated for Best Picture that year, I'd say about 2 of them actually deserve to be on there. Perhaps only Martin Scorsese's Hugo and Alexander Payne's The Descendants deserve to and ultimately be in the nomination pool, because both are great, but their competition from movies like Warhorse, Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close, The Artist, it's just kind of insulting to put them in the same league, really. 2011 was a year where the movies that didn't get nominated were actually better than the movies that mostly did. Movies like Warrior, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo remake. All those movies that didn't quite make the cut were all greater than the movies that did. It's just kind of depressing to know that that was the state of that year, and it was in fact a total wash. Oh, by the way, The Artist took home Best Picture. The fluffiest of the fluff as far as Best Picture winners go in the last few years. Now, I am happy to say this past Oscar ceremony picked it up big time. The list of nominees for Best Picture were all diverse, catering to a bunch of different categories. They didn't focus so much on the feel-good fluff movies. You got 2 or 3 movies you absolutely love, a couple here and there that are really good, 3 or 4 that just kind of, exist and work in parts for you. There's that one you hate with all your guts. And then there's that one that you've never seen and probably will never see. That is a encouraging sign when they actually get some interesting picks in there. Ultimately, they went with the one that found the most success with the most amount of people, which is Argo. It's got drama, it's got comedy, it's got historical weight to it. It's got the return of a once maligned actor, now turned great director. The Academy loves that stuff. It's one of those movies that had voters of all ages coming together and being like, yes, I can find something to enjoy in that movie. And really, it's probably the least arguable movie that year to take home Best Picture. So, Argo is a different step up in Best Picture winners in the past few years. We'll have to see how this shakes out for the 2014 Oscar Awards, coming this Sunday on ABC. You can check out the MSUreporter.com, where I've written up my predictions for most of the categories, and then tune in Sunday night to see how wrong or wronger I was. In the meantime, make sure to visit our YouTube page, Facebook page, Twitter page, and as always, pick up a print issue every Tuesday and Thursday around campus. Until next time.